Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast presented by our show partner Zwift, here with Benji. As always, we had an awesome time at the first LRCP Zwift group ride on Tuesday. We will be continuing those every Tuesday at 6 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. European time for the rest of February. So make sure you check those out if you're on Zwift, or maybe if you want to get on Zwift, you can check out at Zwift.com in the link below for your 7-day free trial to see what it's all about. There's 9 unique worlds, including fantasy locations like Watopia and real life locations like UCI World Championships courses. So thanks to Zwift for supporting the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast. The UAE, though, have acquired the LABTC Ljubljana team. It's now called the UAE Team ADQ Women's World Tour Team. And last year they were pretty good, actually. They developed Marlon Reuser. She won a fair few races, including Simac Ladies Tour stage and Ceratizit Challenge stage from the breakaway. And although not on their team, she won the European Championships ITT. So she's gone now, unfortunately for them. And Mavi Garcia won Giro dell'Emilia. Bastianelli won 4 sprints, including a Tour de Suisse sprint and a women's tour sprint at the end of the year. So a pretty good squad. Bujak as well, quite a good Slovenian rider on the squad. But they've got a few transfers out, Benji. Like they lost Reuser. How do you rate their season last year, given that they didn't have a huge star. They don't have, like, Garcia's just a little bit below the Van der Breggen, Van Vleuten, Niewiadoma sort of level.
Yeah, I think they did good with what they had. Reuser was their strongest rider in the season, in my opinion. Garcia was obviously a strong rider as well, but like you mentioned, a bit under the top level, which means that she's able to acquire those top 10s in GC and also in Hill Classics and so forth. And I think she's going to likely be one of the stars in 2022, though, as the team has lost some strength. Kind of surprised that Trucina's leaving. Wasn't she one of those riders, or the rider that was pretty poor in a descent, but was winning a race, or was she second in that one stage last year? I think we spoke about it on the podcast.
I thought she won a Burgos stage, from the breakaway, which was like it was a crazy win, actually. Like you rarely see it. The bunch started chasing way too late, really, really strong there. I think she even dropped someone else in the break off her wheel. It's really, really strong. So right. I don't know, maybe she'll kick on. She's 20, she was 25, or she was 26 then, and I don't know, she was good at Trevelle Veracina. I think one day races, like hilly ones like that, she can do well.
But yeah, they don't re-sign her, so is that...
Oh, wow. Is she not on any team?
Nope.
Ooh, that's weird. Okay.
Must be some reason we don't know, most likely. So let's not go off that solely. But I think that's certainly a loss for the squad. Reuser quite definitely, and Guterres also a strong rider. But are they bringing strong riders as a consequence? They're bringing in talent, in my opinion. I think one of the ones that I'm looking at that came in was Maria Novolotskaya. I think she had a really decent, if not good, 20 or 21 season for a 22-year-old. We note that in the Cobble season, for example, she was getting a top 20 in Wevelgem and so forth. So she got in that final group that sprinted for the victory. And next to that, a 17th spot at Scheldeprijs. That's perhaps the less extensive one, but I'm more looking at the Hill Classics. 13th at Amstel, 15th at LBL, 21st at La Flèche. This is potentially a stronger rider in this team in the making, if not already one of the stronger riders in this team when it comes to perhaps the last woman in the squad to help out Mavi Garcia on those Hill Classics.
Yeah, I think Garcia, she's just not the solution in terms of, like, she's just a little bit, well, not a little bit, like she was quite a bit behind in the Hill Classics. I don't know. It seems like a bit of a transition year, this one. They've just acquired the team. They haven't made any huge signings. It seems to be quite a late announcement. And as you said, they're signing quite a lot of younger riders. They also have a rider from the UAE Emirates, Safia Al Sayegh. She's 20 years old. And Benji, honestly, I think they're going to just try and be as consistent as possible with Mavi Garcia, winning a big one-day race, World Tour race with her. seems unlikely. They're going to try and win sprints with Bastianelli, which, spoiler, they already did in one of the first women's races of the year with the Vuelta Ciclista Valenciana Feminas. She won that sprint. Their lead out looks good, to be honest. They have Bird Solo for that. They had Anna Trevisi, did a good lead out for her there.
Yep.
And I just think that's the plan. And then next year, they'll maybe go after a big star.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I also think that Garcia can deliver, for example, a top 5 in the Tour de France Femme, because she's going there. You know that. Bastianelli is going to go
Yeah.
there as their sprinter, and that might actually offer an opportunity, the extensive calendar now, that Garcia might pick up one of those 1 week races or smaller races that perhaps doesn't have the big guns on the start list, because obviously they can't ride every single race anyway. So honestly, I still think she's a good bargain for her money, most likely for the squad to be consistently delivering results, like you mentioned. Not necessarily winning all the time, but getting top fives, top sixes, something like that in stage races and in those hill classics. I think that's a good thing for the squad. In all honesty, when it comes to the rest of the squad, there's no one out there that I'm saying, like, this is the leader. Like, I think it's mainly Bastianelli and Mavi Garcia, and, for example, Novolotskaya, if she gets better, stuff like that. But I do believe they've got riders in there that are quite strong in their domestique department, but I'm not saying that they're going to be outrageously strong. I think when we look at, for example, Erika Magnaldi, who also joined the squad after Ceratizit, after being at Ceratizit WNT for, I think, 3 years, she's also pretty strong, also in those hill classics. So I think their strongest squad is arguably their hill classics and perhaps their sprint train at the moment. Do you see that the same?
Sprint and cobbles, mate. Bastianelli's just good all rounder. Like, she can win Gen Babelhem out of a group, I think, with the right lead out. She's
Yeah.
still so good. The rider, and I didn't realize they'd signed her, and I actually asked her after her World Championships win, and she's a bit non-committal. I was like, "You staying on the track?" She was doing a lot of track work. Elena Ivanchenko, 18. And you're like, okay, she won the ITT, the women's junior, world championships. Like, a lot of riders win juniors, and it doesn't mean much. She beat Zoe Baxter by 11 seconds. Zoe Baxter
Yeah.
is absolutely cracked. So maybe she's their star. She cleaned the junior scene in Turkey. She won Europeans ITT as well by a fair margin, like 32 seconds on a 22K course. And she's probably the most talented signing they've made. And who knows what she can do on a more, hopefully she's doing more of a road focused schedule. And just look out for Elena Ivanchenko in the Cobble Classics
Yeah.
as a TT focus.
Yeah, I think it's a bit early to do it this year yet, but I do think that she can be valuable. She's 18 still, so I don't know. I don't expect her to be in the biggest races yet in the first season. But then again, we saw at X the other day where we had Atosalo, the 18-year-old on that squad, getting sixth as well in the first race of the season, Vuelta Classica, whatever, Comunidad Valenciana thingy, Feminas thingy. So, yeah, in total, the youngsters are definitely getting opportunities faster than on the men's side of the sport, because the teams are smaller and therefore they need to sign up riders to races that they might not be ready for yet, or they might surprise us in those races that we expect them not to be ready yet.
I think she's cracked. I think she'll surprise people this year. Even though she's 18, she
Okay.
looks really, really good. And to beat Backstead, you got to be good. So just look out for her. But yeah, it's what will be interesting with this team. And as Benji said, it'll probably be Bastianelli for sprints, Garcia for GC at the Tour de France, Femme avec Zwift. Will be who are they signing next year? Because I still think they want to make a splash. Annemiek van Vleuten out of contract. Do they? Like, they have the template in the men's team, Benji. If you want to win the tour, just get the best GC rider, and then everything else will sort itself out. Do they go after Annemiek with a big offer? If this team presumably has a decent budget, if it's the UAE now back team. So,
Or
oh yeah,
or they go the way they did with Pogacar and they sign a youngster that could be very good in the future, like Pogacar was when he joined UAE, in the sense of Casablanca Vash, who's also currently out of contract at the end of the season.
really?
I think
She
so,
Wow.
right?
So
Am I stupid?
No, you might be wrong, but you might doesn't mean you're stupid.
I appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate that.
Vash is signed till 2020, end of 2023. So she's locked in for another year and a half. So she's
Okay.
not
My
available for
bad.
23. But yeah, there's going to be some competition for GC riders, I think, and I expect them to try and poach Anna Meek. That would make a lot of sense to me. But yeah, that was the interesting to see the moves teams are making. A team like UAE now being like, we need to get in on the women's world tour scene and acquiring or name title sponsorship of the previously known LABTC Ljubljana team. Obviously, the Slovenian links, Ljubljana key in the name, to the team. So the Slovenian riders like Bujak already on there. And yeah, it made a lot of sense. And we'll see what happens with this team. I think this is just a transition year, and we'll see what they really want to do next year. Watch out for Ivanchenko. But thanks for listening, as always, to the UAE Team ADQ team previous for 2022. We hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to Zwift, as always, for supporting the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.